When you picture the British invasion, the Who, the Yardbirds, the Stones, you probably think of these genius musicians just inventing a whole new sound out of thin air. But what if I told you that the driving, iconic beat of British rock wasn't really invented by the bands at all? What if it was actually built to order for a very specific, and let's just say, very demanding audience? Okay, let's get into it. So here's the big puzzle we've got to solve. In the early 60s, British bands were completely obsessed with American rhythm and blues. They were trying to copy their heroes, guys like Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, but something amazing kind of got lost in translation. The result wasn't a faithful copy, not even close. It was something way faster, harder, and just a lot more aggressive. So what was going on?
And this just lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you've got the American original Howlin' Wolf. It's all about that hypnotic, swinging groove. It's cool, it's laid back. But then you listen to the British cover by the Yardbirds, and whoa, it's frantic. It's a relentless stomp. The whole rhythmic DNA has been completely rewritten. And to understand why, we're not going to look at the bands. Nope, we have to look at the dance floor.
To solve this musical mystery, we need to meet the mods, the modernists. They were this incredible youth subculture in Britain, and they were obsessed with a few things: sharp style, authenticity, and a very, very particular kind of energy. They were the ones packing the clubs, they were the ones paying the bands, and they had some pretty specific demands.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. You've got these three demands that create a perfect storm. First, authenticity. The mods knew their stuff. They wanted the real deal, obscure American R&B, not some cheesy pop music. Second, their entire social life was built around all-night clubs. And third, and you guys, this is the absolute key to the whole thing, those all-nighters were fueled by amphetamines, by speed.
So you see, the music had a job to do. A physical job. A slow, swinging blues song just wasn't going to cut it for a dance floor packed with people high on speed at 3 in the morning. No way. They needed a relentless, non-stop pulse to match their own chemically induced energy. Plain and simple, they needed a soundtrack for speed.
And the bands, well, they wanted to get paid. They wanted to get famous. So you better believe they delivered. They took the American R&B that they loved, and they completely re-engineered it for the mod dance floor. They transformed that American swing into the British stomp.
So how'd they actually do it? This breaks it down perfectly. First, they took that subtle, jazzy shuffle feel, and they just got rid of it. They straightened the beat into this hard, direct pulse. Second, the drummers started hammering all 4 beats in the bar with equal force, that aggressive, driving feel. Third, they followed what the Who famously called the maximum R&B ethos, play everything faster and louder. And finally, the bass and drums, they weren't just background support anymore. They became the main event, the engine driving the entire song.
Now you gotta remember, this new sound wasn't invented in some quiet, sterile recording studio. Oh no. It was forged live, night after night, in this intense feedback loop with the dancers. The bands that played harder and faster got a bigger reaction from the crowd. A bigger reaction meant more gigs, bigger crowds. It was like musical natural selection, happening in real time.
And this right here, this is the key takeaway. For the mods, music wasn't just something to listen to. It was a functional tool. Its #1 job was to make nonstop, high-energy dancing possible for hours and hours. If the beat dropped, the energy on the floor died, and that meant the band had failed.
And if you want the absolute smoking gun proof of this whole idea, look no further than a technique called the rave-up, which the Yardbirds totally perfected. Right in the middle of a song, the band would just floor it. They'd double the tempo, launching into this wild, frantic, chaotic instrumental jam. It was designed for one reason: to push that amphetamine-fueled crowd right over the edge.
Yeah, the source material we're looking at calls the rave-up the clearest evidence of this symbiosis. And that's exactly what it was. It was this perfect connection between the band's supply of energy and the dance floor's demand for it. It was the sound of a band giving the crowd exactly what their bodies were screaming for.
Okay, let's make this super concrete. Let's take one song, Smokestack Lightning. The Howlin' Wolf original is this incredible slow burn. Its goal is to create a mood, a hypnotic atmosphere. Now, look at the Yardbirds version. It's completely sped up, it's chaotic, and its goal is just pure explosive physical release. And it all leads up to one of their signature rave-ups. It's the same song, but it's been totally re-engineered for a completely different purpose.
So this beat that was tailor-made for a few thousand kids in these sweaty London clubs, what happened to it? Well, it didn't stay there, that's for sure. It went global. and it changed music forever. This is the story of how a small subculture ended up writing the rules for the future of rock.
So let's just put a bow on this. That driving, aggressive British beat, it wasn't some kind of happy accident. It wasn't just a bad copy. It was a very specific tool, engineered from the ground up to meet the physiological demands of its audience.
It was a sound that was literally hammered into shape night after night by the needs of the dance floor.
And that sound, that very same beat, well, it became the fundamental blueprint for decades of high-octane rock and roll.
I mean, just think about it for a second. That relentless, four-on-the-floor, super high-energy rhythm, that is the direct ancestor of hard rock. It's the literal DNA of punk music. The need for a few kids to dance all night in London accidentally created the rhythmic language for decades of musical rebellion.
So it really leaves you with a fascinating question to chew on. What other music that we all know and love was shaped not just by the genius of the artist, but by the specific, functional demands of the audience it was actually made for? It's something to think about.